feedback is all that does it. With having kids and being able to my mom's one of my mom's passed on their March this March a year and a half ago. And my other mom's and she's here actually tonight. There's some people here tonight who have known me since I was yeah, I grew up in Simon. Okay, I will follow your lead.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. There you go. First of all, I want to remark, thank you to the sun for making its appearance. How beautiful. I ask this every week now because I just can't get enough of I think this is some of the nicest weather I've had in all my years in Western New York. It's so gorgeous and it's just the right, like if I want to give God an A+, because it's not too, we actually learned this in the Talmud. We were talking about what to do with a lung, and it said put it not in cold water, not in hot water, but in tepid water, which is in between. And, you know, we have 68 degrees. It's not too hot, not too cold. It's I guess they call it tepid. I don't know. Is it tepid? Yeah. Tepid doesn't sound very appealing. All right, so I do have a new poem for today. It's called Love Letter to the Stars. As the story goes, or so we've been told, that once long ago, too long ago for us to really fathom, this space rock was connected to that space rock, and that to this, and this to that, balled so tight it was like a giant hug, tighter and tighter until all of these various pieces and parts exploded out to create what we now call the universe. And as sad as that separation was for us back then, it meant we would be forever connected. One piece of matter to the next, a family of love that can never be broken. Meaning that you and I and the most distant star contain elements of one another. And if we sit back and really try to remember how it felt eons ago, we might just feel the faint imprint of that glorious hug rippling through our bodies with a promise that no matter how far apart we drift, we are and forever will be one. Let's take a nice deep breath of Shabbat air. Breathe in all that we want in this life, and we breathe out all the rest. It's a real blessing this weekend for our first official Bunis family memorial Shabbat, and we got the perfect weather, and we have the perfect guest. Rabbi Reina Grossman will be with us all Shabbat. And Reina grew up in this community and actually was part of the merger process. And they were telling me that they actually left right after we brought the Torahs here. So July 1st, I guess that was July 1st, 2012. And I guess you left July 2nd, I don't know. Very soon after. Just so you know, we have Reina brought a number of their family members with them. We have Ethan somewhere. There's Ethan over there, and Fievel, who is the very tall one, and Riva, who's the reasonably tall one. And we have Raina's mom, Jessie, is here as well. I'm going to bring up Bruce to officially welcome you.
You got to bring sunglasses. Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. Welcome, and welcome, Rabbi Reina. It's so nice to have you with us tonight. This is one of our truly special nights of the year, and it's a special weekend as we have our Bunis family event, as we learn more about our Reconstructionist past. And this is the first of an annual event as we move forward. Quick show of hands. How many people have been members since the merger? And how many people are still asking questions about the difference between Reform and Reconstructionist? So Rabbi Reina is going to be here to talk about our Reconstructionist heritage, and it should be really, really interesting. We're looking forward to that. And, she is with the Reconstructionist Rabbinical College, which means she has dirt on Rabbi Alex to share. No, I'm kidding. They love Rabbi Alex at the college. When we were there last year as part of our Philly trip, the bus pulled up and there was this giant banner in front of the college and it said, "Welcome, Rabbi Alex," and then in small letters, "and the rest of you." Anyway, but no, we look forward to hearing all about that, and I'm going to get out of the way and let the service begin. So Shabbat Shalom. We do have, as we wrap up the month of June and head toward July, a lot of stuff coming up. So it's a fairly... Is Robin here? Sorry, she's not. Okay. She knew. It's a fairly long list for the announcements. So be forewarned. Shabbat Shalom again. I can get down without her.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Okay. I'll be talking a little bit more at the end of the service. So first, we're just going to move in to Shabbat together. And I invite you to turn to page 6 for Hine Matov. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is and how pleasant when brethren dwell together.
I think Riva's is giving you some greetings. She just turned 2 the other day.
That's my 2-year-old Riva.
Yeah. I should note that this is the Ma'amad Sinai. This was actually created by the Sinai community, and it's a great honor. I know every year when I see Barry Schwartz, who was the rabbi at Sinai at the time, he says, "Do you have any extras of those books?" I said, "Well, we actually need them still." So he's happy to have them in use. We are going to bring up Karen Lowenthal to read for us on page 16, and Karen was part of Temple Sinai community.
Hi, good evening.
I think it may be on
Page
this one. I
16.
think it's not loud.
Oh, I'm sorry. On page 16, we thank you. We thank you for cities and towns, factories and farms, flowers and trees, sea and sky. We thank you for the world and its beauty, for family and friends, neighbors and cousins. We thank you for friendship and love, for kind hearts, smiling faces, and helping hands. Thank you for those who care for others. for commandments that teach us how to live. We thank you for those who help us to understand your laws, and for making us one family on earth, the children of one God. We praise you who made all people different yet alike.
It's an honor to call up the person who taught me to light Shabbos candles. I invite my mom to join me.
You can see her out there.
An auspicious begin.
Only the perfect match can light on Shabbat.
Some of them don't work. Is it working?
The first one lost its head.
Okay.
The second one is doing
We do have a better one. Hold on, Jesse. I'm so sorry. We forgot to get it better.
I didn't tell you it was a test.
We have these from the Reconstructionist movement. We gotta use those.
No pressure on that.
These are from the convention itself.
Okay, you know what you have to do.
Let's see if oh, yes, we can go thank Devin.
Kindling light and joy.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, u'v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom. May God bless us with Shabbat joy. May God bless us with Shabbat holiness. May God bless us with Shabbat peace. Amen.
Now that we've welcomed Shabbat, we welcome the Shabbat bride with Lecha Dodi, beginning on page 27. Oh, my apologies, we do Kiddush first. Page 89.
It's not even your fault. There's no cup here. Joanne, we need a cup. Okay, we'll figure it out. Well, why don't we go to Lecha Dodi? We'll do Kiddush when we get there.
My mistake was in fact correct. Okay. Back to Lecha Dodi, page 27. And once we've welcomed the bride, then we will toast with the Kiddush. We'll be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת לתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומאורי, אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Please rise in body or spirit. מועי ושלום עתיד מעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. I was going to mention that as every weekend when I grew up, after Lecha Dodi in Temple Sinai, when we welcomed the Shabbat bride, we always then turned to welcome each other, and it seems I don't have to mention it. Please take a moment and greet the people sitting next to you, welcoming them into your Shabbat. I always love that part of Lecha Dodi, every week.
We've been reduced to, after COVID.
After COVID, the ways. And step. There we go. We continue with Kiddush on page 89. I'll invite you to join with me reading responsively first and the English at the top of the page. The commandment to bless this wine is a commandment to drink life as deeply as we drink from this cup. It is a commandment to remember with Shabbat heart, to act with Shabbat hands, to see the world with Shabbat eyes. This is the wine that God has commanded us to bless and drink. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי אלינו קראת ואותנו קידשת לעבודתך ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים.
It's only grape juice. It's not. Oh, it's wine this time.
That's wine. That is definitely wine.
Well, you're supposed to.
We continue with the Baruch Hu, our call to prayer on page 34. If it's comfortable and secure for you to do so, I invite you to rise. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed. You may be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim bechokhma poteach she'arim uvitvuna meshane itim umachalif et hazmanim umsader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem berakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or umavir yom umevir layla umavdil ben yom uvein layla Adonai tzvaot shemo El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Amari Varavim. We continue to page 36. I invite you to join with me in reading in the English. Blessed are you who spins day into dusk, with wisdom watch the dawn gates open, with understanding let time and seasons come and go, with awe perceive the stars in lawful orbit. Morning dawns, evening darkens, darkness and light yielding one to the other, yet each distinguished and unique. Marvel at life, strive to know its ways, the gateways to life's mysteries. Wondrous indeed is the evening twilight. I would now like to invite up Jill Hamilton to read for us on page 39.
Page 39, Love Letter to the Third Planet. Little brown planet draped in a talit of swirled white and blue, though you are not cloaked in mystery like Venus, nor ringed in splendor like Saturn, nor awesome in majesty like Jupiter. Little brown planet, if I were God, you would be my chosen planet. I would gift you with elephants for grandeur, great oaks for endurance, golden grasses for warmth, tawny leopards for grace, orchids for glory, giraffes for whimsy, rabbits for gladness, and flamingos just for fun. When I had bedazzled you with every wonder my being could create, I would give you Shabbat for beholding and celebrating my love.
One of the things you'll notice is that there will be slightly different traditions. You might have noticed a little bit of a different kiddush than we often do here, and different traditions about standing and sitting. So this is an experience tonight, and it's also a reminder of our legacies. We're going to turn to page 48, and we'll sing the Shema together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Page 49. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol miodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantan levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlektecha b'derech, uv'shochvecha uv'kumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, uktavtam, Amazazot Beitecha Uvisharecha. And let's continue on page 52 in the middle, 4 lines up from the bottom. Leman tizkeru v'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim leloechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem. We're going to turn to one of my favorite readings in the book on page 62, and I understand that my friend David Bunis is here, but I can't see him, partially because of the sun. Where's David? Oh, there you are, David. Okay. I heard you were wearing orange, so I'd like to invite you up to read for us about Moses and Miriam. Are you able to come? This weekend really is inspired by David's family, his parents, Ann and Lou, and his entire mishpacha that helped to create our community.
I apologize for being delayed.
Oh, you're perfect. Okay. And you get to read my favorite reading here, if you're able just to watch this
one?
up here. Yeah, if you want to come right up here. Just one more step, and then they can see.
It's like my bar mitzvah.
I know, yeah.
Hello, everybody.
I know, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I hear your voices, Moses and Miriam, your song rising on ever higher waves of freedom, melody, song of the sea, song of the water's strength, its ebb and flow, its power to protect or overwhelm. I hear your voices rising with joy, with love, with thanks, with wonder. You will know the water of redemption. It is the water of the springs, gentle rains, the water of the well in the midst of the desert, the water of the womb, water that nourishes, protects, frees. Hear my voice, Moses and Miriam. Yours is the challenge to enter the water and survive. Yours is the opportunity to form ballets with every stroke. As I parted the waters for your journey, may you part waters for the journey of others.
David is demonstrating our new force of light, of course. It only affects us in May and June, pretty much. That's why we keep having events on it. Let's turn to page 64 as we celebrate that journey across the sea. Please join with me. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha, mi chamocha, mi kamocha, mi kamocha, mi kamocha be'elim Adonai, mi kamocha, mi kamocha, mi kamocha, mi kamocha, mi kamocha, mi kamocha nedar b'hakodesh. Nohora tehilot osef eleh. Nohora tehilot osef eleh. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha bokei hayam. Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam ze'eli. Anu v'yamru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Mi kamocha, mi kamocha, mi kamocha, mi kamocha, mi kamocha, mi kamocha ve'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha, mi kamocha, mi kamocha, mi kamocha, mi kamocha, mi kamocha nedar b'hakodesh. Nohora tehilot osef eleh. Nohora tehilot osef eleh. The top of 65. V'ne'emar kif Adonai et Yaakov v'golo miad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. If you're able to rise, we have our silent Amidah, our silent meditation, starting on page 70 through page 85. Take this time for your own thoughts and prayers, and whenever you're ready, you may be seated. On the top of 84, page 84 at the top. Thank you, eternal our God, for the great wonder of your creation, for the earth and the stars, yeah, please join with me, and the sun and the moon, and the beauty of your universe, with which in your great kindness you have blessed me. Thank you for granting me life in all its richness, for its brilliant moments of joy, which allow me to soar as the birds, and even for its anguish and pain, which somehow seem to precipitate our inner growth and change. For all these things, God, I am grateful. Thank you especially, God, in your abundant love, for having made me a human being, blessed among all the fruits of your creation, with a mind to reason and to seek truth and justice, with a soul which can feel pain, ecstasy, and compassion, and which has the freedom to choose life and goodness over cruelty and destruction, with a heart which can love and care and reach out to touch the hearts of my brothers and sisters as together we walk through the years of our lives. On the top of 85. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Ose shalom bimromav, Yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimeru, amen. We're going to turn to our healing prayer, our Misha Berach, which can be found on page 185. I'm going to read our list from our congregation. There's so many people in need in our community, in this room and outside of this room. I want you to send special prayers as we get started to my father, Henry Lazarus. He had hip surgery, as I mentioned last week, and unfortunately, in the middle of the night after we had our services last week, he fell in the rehab unit and had to have a second hip surgery. The good news is that they did a good job, and he is back at home rehabbing. So please keep him in your mind, as well as our friend Cookie Levin. She could use as many prayers as we can. We are going to read our list of names, and if you have other names, just raise your hand. If I can see you, I'll call it, you know. It's starting to calm down a little bit almost, okay. We're sending out prayers as a community to Marie Bayless, Rosemary Bergholzer, Maria Fenton, Jane Freer, Al Green, Donna Gugino, Ernie Grosser, Carolyn Grosser, Herb Greenman, Nicole Haddock, Jill Hamilton, Joan Alexander Hyman, Kathleen Krasowski, Nancy Krigston, Dr. Tamis Langdon, we already read this, Joe Lipsick, David Lowinger, Rick Mahler, Rebecca Malone, Beth Marcus, Jay Mesnikoff, Joan Ohlendorf, Carol Paris, Deb Hiver, Richard Radis, Mark Rodman, Sarah Korn Rothschild, Charlene Ripsick, Harold Lee Russlander, Ruth Santos, Jeff Serino, Roz Silver, Susan Spadero, Edward Stapleton, Gail Willick-Smith, Sonia Sugarman, Ruth Santo, Sharon Wisikoff, Hannah Ezra Ben Shul, Hannah Leah Bat Avram Sarah, Carla Bat Chana, Devorah Leah Bat Elisheva Chana, Leah Bat Sarah. We'll go around. If you have other names, just raise your hand. Come over to the non-Sunday.
Linda Seitz, Auburn, Renee Shore.
Christine Halliot. Kimberly Clipstein. Vera Grosser, Anne Marie Rice, Judy and Stephen Rice.
bring all those names together as we sing the Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu, mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Complete healing of body and soul. May all our prayers go out to where they're needed, both in this room and outside of it, and we say, Amen. So when Dave and I sat down, we talked about this weekend. We thought it would be a wonderful idea to really not only celebrate the legacy of his family, his parents, Lou and Ann, who just were amazing leaders in our overall Jewish community and started not one, but 2 Reconstructionist synagogues. How many? I think if you start one, you go to heaven. If you start 2, you even go higher, maybe. And they did so much they left quite a legacy. You'll see their imprint. Well, I don't think they were alive during this. You'll see their imprint even on this prayer book and lots of places within our own community. And it's a wonderful way to connect, because for many, many years, the Reconstructionist Rabbinical College has had a Bunis lecture series. And when I was a student, long before I came here to Shir Shalom or Temple Sinai, or Temple Beth Am for that matter, I actually was I attended a Bunis lecture series, and they were always wonderful. And lo and behold, we don't have one here, so it's a perfect way to kind of bring that to our community and to celebrate the legacy. And the purpose of this is to both connect to Lou and Ann and to the Bunis family, to really connect to them. It also is to connect directly with the Reconstructionist movement, and particularly to RRC, which was founded out of the Temple Sinai, actually, where the members there were kind of tired of not having rabbis from their own denomination, and somehow convinced Rabbi Mordecai Kaplan to start a rabbinical college. And we've, over the years, have drifted a little bit further away from the movement. This is a wonderful way to connect and to bring teachers from the rabbinical college to our community to learn and grow together. It's a partnership, both between Dave Bunis and his family and the Reconstructionist College, rabbinical college, and our community. And when we were thinking about who to bring, first of all, Jill, I want to thank her for really helping out a lot with this. Of course, we wanted to bring someone who was homegrown. It's really the perfect thing. Raina helped to introduce me to the Buffalo community all those years ago, and then left for, once we started Shir Shalom. But it was wonderful to bring them back for this occasion and to be our first speaker. So Raina, without further ado, is going to speak about their journey, and then afterwards we're going to have a little dialogue.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. As you've heard, I'm Rabbi Raina Grossman. I'm also the Director of Field Education at the Reconstructionist Rabbinical College and the first Bunis speaker here at Congregation Shir Shalom. I want to begin by thanking David Bunis and the Bunis family for their generosity in sponsoring this event in honor of Lou Bunis, Zichrono Livracha, and the rest of the Bunis family. I also want to thank Rabbi Alex Lazarus Klein. Thank you, Alex. It's been a pleasure since we met each other, and it's lovely now to get to be colleagues. Congregation Shir Shalom and Jill Hamilton, the chair of the committee, for inviting me. It is a deep honor and privilege to be able to come home in more ways than one to share this weekend with all of you. I was born and raised within a Reconstructionist Jewish home, and I was named and welcomed into my broader Jewish community at Temple Sinai. For that, I can thank my mom, Jessie, who you met at candle lighting, who is here with me this evening, who found Temple Sinai as she was returning to her Judaism in adulthood. She made Temple Sinai and Reconstructionism the cornerstones in our family's religious, spiritual, and Jewish communal life. Temple Sinai is front and center in many of my childhood memories and in many of the formational moments of my life, including many of the people in this room were part of many of those moments. I first attended services at Temple Sinai at a week old or so, growing up to have my bat mitzvah there when I was 12, which incidentally was on Parshat Korach, this week's Parsha. And during my bat mitzvah, Cantor Susan Whaley, Zichrona Livracha, sang a special song with my Uncle Kenny as a surprise for me. And the then Rabbi Barry Schwartz, gently pushed me forwards so that he would not get hit with the flying candies that were then thrown. He wanted to be spared, which he told me as he pushed me gently forwards. Later, my sister and I participated in Temple Sinai's youth group, which my other mother, Linda, Zichrona Livracha, headed for a while. It was at Sinai that I marked and celebrated my affirmation, the next step in my burgeoning young adult connection to Judaism. And I had the honor of reading Haftarah on Rosh Hashanah for a number of years, being an assistant teacher and in the religious school, and marking every special birthday month Shabbat on the Bima, getting my birthday blessing alongside Esther Bates, Zichrono Livracha, and others who had June birthdays. When I came back to Buffalo to pursue my MSW at UB, after graduating from Brandeis, I joined Temple Sinai with my partner Ethan, Rabbi Alex as our rabbi, as adult members in our own rights, which solidified the next leg of my adult Jewish Reconstructionist journey. I was then honored again by being asked to take on the holy work of creating and sustaining the community by serving on the board, which I was pleased to do, though I admit I didn't really know what I was getting into. But it's a good thing for a rabbi to learn. I sat on the board and the Ritual and Liturgy Committee through the merger and the creation of Congregation Shir Shalom. I then helped carry one of our Sefer Torahs from the old Temple Sinai building to this community's new home here. There are so many moments and experiences connected to Temple Sinai and now Shir Shalom that have shaped who I have become both personally and professionally. One story that has helped characterize my feeling and my family's connection to Temple Sinai, now Shir Shalom, and helps to elucidate some of what felt so uniquely special about it for us, comes from before I can even really remember. This story has been told many times, and I have created a patchwork visual memory in my head, though I don't think I have any real memories of my own, though maybe some of you in this room do. This story is told often, and you've probably heard it before. But at the time, I was an infant. I was not yet fully walking, but actively crawling around the sanctuary every Friday night during services. The rabbi then was Rabbi Joseph Herzog, Zichrono Livracha. I am told that I adored Rabbi Herzog, though again, I don't have direct memories of this time in my life. And given that from the very beginning of my young life, I had been a fixture at Temple Sinai, I was doted on and given a lot of latitude and freedom in the shul. My moms have told me about the rounds that I would make amongst those attending services, sitting with some, holding hands with others, or just smiling at everyone. I've always loved synagogue. On this particular Shabbat evening, my moms set me down, allowing me the freedom of the sanctuary. When my parents next did their visual sweep of the room to locate where I had landed, they realized that I was busily crawling up the 2 or 3 steps to the bima. Depending on the retelling, my mom's degree of shock, concern, and amusement vary, But what reigns consistent is what comes next. Resolutely, I crawled towards Rabbi Herzog, who, noticing that I was now sitting at his feet, gazing up at him, picked me up and, holding me, continued leading services. For the remainder of the service, I sat quite happily in his arms, gazing at him and occasionally patting his shoulder or beard and whispering, "Rabbi," in a tone that I am told was full of awe, as much awe as a 1 or 2-year-old can hold. This story has always made me smile, and its canonization in my family's narrative helped to solidify my strong sense of belonging in Sinai's Jewish community. I think this story and its canonization also predisposed me to have an enormous soft spot for rabbis and the rabbinate. Here we are. While at the same time instilling within me the understanding that rabbis were people and that I could have immensely deep and meaningful connections with them, that they were approachable, human even. This approachability and humanity of both the rabbi and of our tradition have always felt like hallmarks of my experience at Temple Sinai, and I later came to see them as flowing in part from Sinai's grounding and formation in our Reconstructionist tradition. It was through Sinai and through Reconstructionist Judaism in my childhood home that I encountered and absorbed the understanding that Judaism evolves in response to the civilization it is existing within, and the Jews practicing it at any given time. Within Reconstructionism, I encountered and connected with Rabbi Mordechai Kaplan's reframing of God from a traditional understanding of a personal, embodied, supernatural entity to a God that is a power for good, the ethical, the just, and salvation in this world. And it was through Reconstructionism that the Torah and the traditional texts that I encountered both in synagogue and at Kadima Day School, which I attended from kindergarten to 8th grade, were made to feel accessible, relevant, alive, and personally and communally meaningful and compelling. I was shown, as we read in Deuteronomy, that Torah is not in the heavens. It is very close to us. It is in our mouths, and in the mouths and hearts and memories of our loved ones, community members, ancestors, ever accessible, ever approachable. The opportunity and responsibility of that chain of transmission is deeply meaningful and compelling to me, and is something I learned in part at Temple Sinai. As is the famous Kaplanian concept that tradition has a vote, but not a veto. I have taken from this that though our traditions don't always transfer perfectly or comfortably to our modern time, we can hold them with reverence and respect, honoring their place in our history and in our current practices, just as we look at them critically, seeking to find the perfect balance between the tradition and its function on the ground and between personal and communal meaning. It is those synergistic connections between the tradition and the realities of the modern world, between the needs and desires of the individual and those of the community, and between the sacred and the mundane, that pulled me, finally, toward the rabbinate. Though I had entertained thoughts of becoming a rabbi since childhood, at Kadima it was a common answer to what do you want to be when you grow up, next to astronaut, doctor, other things. The realization that that was really the path that I wanted to take didn't solidify for me until the Institute for Liberal Jewish Studies weekend Shabbaton with Rabbi Jamie Arnold in March of 2010. It was a little over a year after the deaths of Cantor Susan Whaley, who was a beloved cantorial soloist at both Temple Sinai and Temple Beth Am, and my grandmother and my great-aunt, Zichronam Livracha, all three of whom were deeply impactful in the creation of my Jewish identity. Rabbi Jamie had been the rabbi at Temple Sinai for a number of years when I was a child, and my family and his had been close. I also used to babysit for his 3 children weekly. Rabbi Jamie had since moved on to another community, but my understanding was that because he had worked with Susan when they were both at Temple Sinai, that he came back for this special program. Part of the weekend was a healing service for the whole Buffalo Jewish community held here at then Temple Beth Am in the social hall, and I attended with my moms, and I imagine a number of people in this room now were also there at the time. What I remember is that we were all sitting in a circle, a big circle, and although many of us were friends or social acquaintances, Buffalo Jewish community, we tend to know each other. Everyone seemed to be enveloped in one sphere, simply occupying the space next to the others who were there. As Rabbi Jamie began playing guitar and leading us through the prayer for healing, Ana Elna Rafana La, the words that Moshe prays for his sister Miriam when she is stricken with Tzara'at, he opened up the floor to anyone who wished to stand and share who they were praying for. One by one, people began to share, and the room seemed to vibrate with everyone's presence. And as more people stood to share, there was a change in the room. No longer were people simply sitting next to each other, inhabiting the same space. It felt to me like we began to truly see and connect with the people sitting next to us. The sense of community and connection were tangible, and I was floored by the experience. Not only had I found it personally moving in a time of grief, but I was struck with the realization that that was the kind of impact I had hoped to learn how to enact. I was in the middle of my MSW program at UB at the time. The more I thought about it, the more I wanted to be able to do what Rabbi Jamie had done, to be able to help facilitate that type of experience with people. That's when I felt this overpowering sense of the rightness of that decision to become a rabbi. Once I recognized my desire to pursue the rabbinate, the question of where to go to pursue that dream was immediately apparent. Given my deep rootedness in Reconstructionism, tended and nurtured in large part by my time at Temple Sinai and later congregation Shir Shalom, by my connections with rabbis, Rabbi Alex and others, the only option was the Reconstructionist Rabbinical College. I attended from 2012 to 2017, taking up the Director of Religious Services role at Lionsgate, a Jewish continuing care retirement community where I had been the intern immediately following graduation. I was at Lionsgate through the summer of 2022, through COVID, 5 years after graduation, when I returned to RC to take on the role of Director of Field Education, which I still hold today. It is a deep honor and a deep privilege to do this work, to be a rabbi, carrying on the legacy of Sinai and my connections to this community here and the greater Buffalo community. Thank you all for this opportunity to connect with you all. Shabbat Shalom. It's now my pleasure to invite Rabbi Alex to have the dialogue portion of this conversation.
Yeah, first of all, I'm very moved as someone who watched Reina when they made the decision, and kind of that was sort of the beginning of your journey towards your profession. It was always very exciting. It's wonderful to kind of be able to follow your story. I was following you.
Thank you for being a part of it.
You have a lot of people that root for you here when you're grown, as you said, from that early age, and it wasn't missed on me that Riva is roughly, a little bit older than when you jumped in Rabbi Herzog's lap, but not so different in age. So we both attended the same school, but at very different times, and now you are working at the school at another different time. I think we'll use this portion to just what is RRC like these days, and then also we'll need to explain what a field placement director is.
Happy to do so, which is why I didn't write about it, because I assumed that question would be coming. So I'll start with what I do, and then I can explain a little bit about what it looks like. So when I was a student from 2012 to 2017, we had an internship program. We've always had an internship program. I'm sure you have stories from your internships, some good, some perhaps less generative. I also have those stories. And it was kind of a big pot of opportunities for students to learn, to put the practical learning skills that they were gaining in the classroom on the ground in front of real people who would actually help them learn how to do it in a way that worked. It became clear to the college after my graduation, the shift kind of started after 2017, but very close to it, that immersive experiential learning was really one of the best environments to gain skills. And so they started kind of the thought process, which I was not a part of, about how to increase the presence of experiential learning within the curriculum of the college. And they were working on this massive revisioning of the curriculum, and then COVID settled upon all of us, and instead of pursuing that project, they had to pursue learning how to Zoom, which many of us got to pursue with mixed results, right? It was a journey. We all took it, and here we are.
I got to teach, actually, on one of the RRC classes because of Zoom, yeah.
I got to pre-record Shabbat services for my seniors who did not Zoom, and then broadcast them over the internal closed circuit TV, which was a learning curve for me. I did not know how to edit a video, but now I do. So that was all happening in the background, but the needs of the moment were taking precedence. So as the college got things kind of under control, and as the world kind of figured out what a version of new normal might look like, this question of experiential learning, which also field internships had to be placed on hold during the pandemic because it wasn't safe for students to be physically anywhere else. And most communities did not have the tech necessary to allow students to do virtual religious connection and services. So when things started to calm down, the idea and the need for deeper investment in experiential learning kind of came back to the fore, and they reconfigured the curriculum to center that kind of learning in the final years. RRC, for those who are unfamiliar, is a 5 or 6 year program at the least. And so the new curriculum is kind of configured such that the first 3 years are based in the classroom learning the history, learning the sociology, the archaeology, the texts, the prayers, how to give a talk, how to do a baby naming, all the basic skills we need. And then the final 2 years are when the skills that those students have now learned are meant to be put forth into the world. So they became, as the curriculum shifted, they realized they needed somebody to spearhead this new program. And I was invited to apply by a colleague, and I did. And while I really deeply loved my work with my seniors at Lionsgate, I was ready for a change of pace. And I applied, and the opportunity to build this program was very exciting. So I came back in the summer of 2022. And the way the program works now is, and now we just finished our 3rd curricular year of the program. Our students now go anywhere in the country that they wish for immersive internships with in-depth one-on-one and group supervision so that they can learn and train in communities like this one. We don't send them, so I have no power to send them to you or anywhere else. I'm very clear about the limits of my capacity, but I kind of act as a matchmaker, trying to encourage students and connect them to communities who would like to be a part of growing the next generation of rabbis. Those students go to pulpits like this, communities like yours. They go to Hillels, they go to chaplaincies. Some students do residencies in hospitals for chaplaincy, gaining those skills to serve people at all ends of sickness, health, life, and death. Really any setting where a student can do meaningful Jewish communal work, I will work with them to make that happen. And so our students focus now in the final 2 years of their 5 or 6 years with us. The classwork is still there, but it kind of takes a back seat to the immersive learning that they're doing with intensive supervision to guide them to become rabbis who can actually respond to what's happening on the Bima, which is really where the learning needs to happen.
What is the college? So obviously now it's shifted to partly remote. And by the way, we almost got a student because it's by matchmaking, and they wanted to, and then the life changed and it didn't work out.
I am desperately trying to send a student to Buffalo.
We're gonna
love
keep
Buffalo, and
working.
I would love to have a student come your way. I'm working on it.
What's the makeup of the student body? What's it like coming up? I think training for the rabbinate today is different than it was in your age and also in my day.
For sure. I mean, some of the kind of probably obvious differences include things like technology. When I was in rabbinical school from 2012 to 2017, things like Zoom existed, and nobody expected that I knew how to do it. It was not required, it wasn't assessed, no one asked me to do any virtual anything. Even though the tech was there, just nobody was using it. That is not the case anymore. Our students have to be comfortable and have that facility. So there is kind of a technological, a much increased learning curve for the community, which just didn't exist before. And as the world becomes more stressful, let's say, as the Jewish communal world becomes stressful in a October 7th world, the pressures on our students are the pressures we all feel, and our students have the opportunity and the burden of learning in public. Right? They get up to lead services while they're still learning to do that in front of people who know what to expect, and they have to learn with a lot of humility and grace in front of people, which is a tough job, which is a job that we had as well, but in a much less pressurized world, I think, for the most part. There certainly were moments, but I think overall, things were less polarized and less pressurized. And our students are holding that and holding communities through things like that, even as they're trying to navigate them themselves. In the last few years, as congregations shifted budgets around security needs, students serving in pulpit roles had to be a part of those conversations. And they found them, that wasn't something that they had, when they envisioned the rabbinate, security conversations and budgets for security was not what they had envisioned. It's not what most of us would like to envision when we think about a spiritual house of worship. And yet, that is our current reality. So the pressures of the world, I think, are really some of the biggest changes. There have been curricular changes, sure, but really I think it's the technology and the state of things that I think make things different now.
I think part of it is also cost, because they can get paid during part of their journey a little. It can offset some of the costs.
Because of the costs, all of our internships are paid. We actually don't host unpaid internships. I will not undercut my colleagues working in the field by offering free rabbinic labor, and I will not undercut the hard work of my students by saying that they can work for free. So I will actually not post unpaid internships. Students are welcome to volunteer, but as a line, I actually won't post them.
All right, so because we have limited time, we'll have a chance to talk to Raina
Be happy
after
to talk after.
services. I guess the final question, you've had 3 years of this new experience. What's been the result? Have you noticed a big difference in these 3 years?
So I think the biggest change that I have noticed from my particular vantage point is the opportunity for connection. Before the pandemic forced virtual into our mindset and our skill set, if you were close to Philadelphia, you could encounter a rabbinical student, and if you were not, you might be flying them out once a month or once a year to visit you at some far-flung place. And so most people could not encounter the incredible, creative, exciting new people that are going to be the next generation of rabbis unless you were literally there. With the new program and how for students in the final years, their classes can actually be virtual. They are allowed to take fully virtual classes for the final years to facilitate them going wherever they want. We're able to connect with more communities in our broader network than ever before. And that, like I said, includes pulpit communities, but also hillels and hospitals and religious schools. And we had a person go and be a police chaplain in Oklahoma City. That was impossible before this program. They have now hired that student. We also have students getting jobs out of this new program. A student went to St. Louis on a high holiday internship. That community, it was a really wonderful fit. They had 2 years of advanced internships, and they are now the rabbi of that community. So communities who were not in the orbit of the mothership, as we lovingly call it, back in Philadelphia, 1299 Church Road, the building that houses RRC and the movement.
Which we visited last summer.
With apparently a sign. I was sick. You went to my child's daycare and to my place of work, and I was sick home with something from
Shalom.
my children. Yes. The students can connect. So it's really exciting to be able to share with everybody the incredible people that I get to see every single day. And part of my job is to help make that happen, which is really, really lovely.
Well, we do have a special gift. Where's Joanne? Go get Joanne. She has a gift for Raina over here. So it's a real pleasure. We're going to have Raina will join us afterwards for the oneg. So if you have questions, I hope you'll join and ask questions. And how many of you grew up? How many of you remember Raina when Raina was a little child? Okay, there you go. You got a bunch of people.
I know whose questions to avoid. Thank you.
When I visited Philadelphia with our congregation, Bruce keeps joking about it, but it felt like, oh, I'm running into all these people at the nursery school where your children are.
You went to my kid's daycare.
That's where my friend's sister works there, apparently. So, we have some bling for you. I instructed Joanne today to provide some bling so that you're properly shir shalom.
Well, first of all,
I don't know if that works. You gotta go there.
Thanks.
Shabbat Shalom. Are you okay?
Yes, I can. You were payload.
We are so honored for you to be here and make this connection with us today as an adult and in your professional life. We're very grateful that you're here. And we have some shir shalom bling, a canvas bag. We also have a poetry book written by Rabbi Alex.
Oh, that's a book of stories.
We
for
also
kids.
have some glasses from our Women of Shir Shalom and a game for the kids.
Oh, thank you so much.
And we're just so delighted to share this Shabbat weekend with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you.
going to rise for Aleinu, which is on page 190. I'm wondering if Jill would like to join me up here. This is her favorite. I'm going to have her lead. Every week she has to push through our, I guess, traditional Aleinu, but this is the Reconstructionist Aleinu that we're going to do that she's more familiar with on page 190. So just be aware it's a little different the second lines.
I've trained myself to sing the Reconstructionist words to the Aleinu regardless of what's going on around me. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol latek yidala leotzer breshit shenatan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata betochenu v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Should I go on or what?
Yeah, whatever you like.
Shehu noteh shamayim ve'yoser haaretz u'moshe v'karo b'shamayim mima'al u'shvinatu zo begoveh meromim hu Eloheinu enod emet malkeinu efes ulato kakatu b'torato v'datayom Vashevota elevavecha ki Adonai hu ha-Elohim b'shamayim mima'al v'al ha'aretz mitachat enod. Now we'll go to page 192 at the bottom. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz b'yom ha'u yeh Adonai echad u'shemo And I have a quick question for Raina. Did everybody at Kadima make up silly words to go in between some of these, or just my kids?
Not just your kids.
Bashamayim, something, jelly bean.
Taking joy in faith is important.
We're going to turn to our Mourner's Kaddish on page 194 and 5. Unfortunately, we have had a number of losses this week. We said goodbye to Ira Bash, Neil Bluestein, Jane Freer, Noah Greenspan, Stephen Gross, and Bradley Hunt. On our Shloshim list, we should mention Lois and Sunny Heller passed, but it wasn't this past week. But we just learned about it last week. Donald Brownstein, Melvin Epstein, Helen Urkala, and David Hoffman and Bruce Schreiber. On our yard site list from years past, we remember Doris Ellen Applebaum, Ruth Axelrod, Miriam Barish, Rose Berg, Louis Borens, and Bunis, Nathan Cassover, Ida Chatterow, Alan Cohn, Stanley Corris, Jim Ellis, Mary Etkin, Annette Favis, Harry Friedman, Jacob Freudenheim, Helen Gross, Gordy Kaufman, Adolf Lansing, Alan Lemansky Rosenberg, that's his 1-year anniversary, Rose Lieberman, Rhea Markel, Sam Paris, Maurice J. Posner, Samuel M. Resnick, Mary Rosenberg, William A. Rosenthal, Mildred Millie Sachs, Marin Sandberg, Max Schaeffler, Ethel Schreberg, Beatrice Schwartz, Evelyn B. Sellers, Arkady Sharagotsky, Nathan Silver, Rhoda Simon, Claire Sommer, Max Sommer, Paul Sommer, Arthur Stein, Ida Taubin, Marshall Weinstein, Dr. Beverly Winston, and Estelle M. Yud. If there's other names, just raise your hand. All those whose custom it is to rise, page 194. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Shemei Rabbah, Yalmad, Yivrach, Yirite, V'yamlik, Malchute, V'chayachon, V'yamachon, V'chayed, Achol Beit Yisrael, V'agalau, V'zman, Kariv, Yimru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah, Mevorach, Le'olam, Olmei, Olmaya. Yitbarak, V'yishtabak, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitalev, V'yitalal, Shemeda Kudasha, B'richu, Le'la min kol birchata v'shirata, Tush b'chata v'nechamata, Damiran b'alma v'yimru, Amen. Yehei shlam rabba min Shemaya, V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, Amen. Oseh shalom v'yimrumav, Hu yaseh shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol Yishvei tevel v'yimru, Amen. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens send peace for us, for all Israel, and all the world. And we say, Amen. You may be seated. Zikronam livracha. May their memory be a blessing. I'd like to bring up Bruce again for our announcements.
Dad would have liked your pace tonight. That was good.
I always think about that, actually.
Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this very special service in our Bunis Family Lecture Series as we begin what will be many years of this as we get to learn much more about our Reconstructionist heritage. And thank you, Rabbi Reina, for sharing your story and with people who know it, many who know it, and people who don't. Really very, very wonderful tonight. And of course, this is just the beginning of the weekend. Rabbi Reina will be here tomorrow morning for the morning service and the luncheon, and will be sharing much more with us at that time. And thank you to David Bunis. Where's David? There you are. There we go. Thank you to you, David, for launching this and getting it off the ground and continuing our legacy. Your generosity is profound, and your commitment will really help ensure a vibrant future for generations to come. So we are truly grateful to you for doing this. Thank you to our service greeters tonight, Diane Gordon and Evie Weinstein. Now, before the morning service, which is, of course, here tomorrow morning at 10:45, so we have the morning service, the Bunis Family Lecture Series, and the Kiddush Luncheon. All of that begins at 10:45 here. Prior to that, there is Torah study over at Temple Beth Tzedek or via their Zoom, excuse me, and that is at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So, the saying, change is the one constant. Have you all heard that saying? Benjamin Franklin said it. So did Dr. McCoy in Star Trek. And we are now living proof of that. We are very excited to announce a new change in our service times that will begin the beginning of July, just beginning in a couple of weeks. For July and August, our summer services under the tent will be at 6:30. There are no family services in July and August. Then September through June, the first Friday of the month, there will be a family service at 6 o'clock. The other services, the rest of the month, will be at 6:30. So beginning in a couple of weeks, 6:30 is the new start time year-round, other than the family services the first Friday of the month. High holidays will have a completely separate schedule, so pay attention to that when that comes out. If you have any questions about all of this, please feel free to talk to Joanne. This month, our Tikkun Olam collection has been very successful in collecting food for the Unity Baptist Church on Buffalo's east side. Julia, we're going to keep doing that over the summer, aren't we? Yes. Hope so. Good. As you guys know, there are a lot of kids on the school lunch and breakfast program, and in the summertime, those kids are going to have trouble getting some food. And donations to food banks and things like that go down in the summer. The need goes up. So anything that we can do, please bring in staples for that. Also, the Tikkun Olam Committee has a couple of dates for you guys to know about in July. There's going to be an interfaith picnic at North Presbyterian Church on July 12th and the Eastside Garden Walk on July 19th. On Tuesday, July 7th, Mariani is offering a poetry discussion and workshop. Please talk to Liz about that. The Women of Shir Shalom are going to be having their donors luncheon on Sunday, July 12th. The basket raffle could use your help. Where's Maureen? Talk to Maureen, please, if you can help out in that regard. Give her a basket. An empty basket's okay, but we'd rather have a basket with something in it. We need gift cards, you name it. Talk to Maureen after services if you can. But if all you can give is a basket, we'll take that. So anyhow, please talk to her or Amy about that, Amy O'Donnell, and watch for your invitation in an email. This coming Tuesday, we are in the parking lot. We are in the social hall. We are in the kitchen for Shabbatas. Tuesday, June 23rd at 4 o'clock, beginning at 4. Please pre-order when you're on the website and save $1 and be guaranteed that you will get your food. If it's a rainy day, you'll probably see me in the parking lot. If the weather's nice, I probably won't be there. Anyway, we do want to have an important announcement, a serious one. It's come to our attention that members of our community have received fraudulent emails that appear to come from Joanne through a punch bowl invitation. Now, they look very convincing at first. They are a scam. Joanne would not invite you to anything. Oh, she's not even there. She's left the room. Anyway, what can I say? At any rate, seriously, if you get something like that, please let us know in the office. Thank you very much. And the phishing scam continues. The rabbi is not asking you for gift cards. I bought him 7 gift cards. I fell for it, so please, don't fall for that. So we have one more indoor service. That is next Friday night. The following Friday, July 3rd, we are under the tent as we begin our summer series of outdoor services, Friday, July 3rd. That one is, of course, Hawaiian Shirt Shabbat. And now, I can't promise that he will be here, but a very famous person has been invited. I mean, when you think of Hawaiian shirts, who do you think of? Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck has been invited to our Hawaiian Shirt Shabbat. Now, he didn't say no. Of course, he also didn't acknowledge the email. But at any rate, I wanted to get the word out there, so you never know. But Hawaiian Shirt Shabbat, Friday, July 3rd. Please RSVP to Joanne so we know to have enough hot dogs or hamburgers for that. We're also going to be honoring our Life and Legacy donors that night. Tom is here tonight. Tom Lansing is our chair of that. And some people are still unsure about how the program works, and they think you've got to sign up and commit to a large sum of money, and you don't. A small, and again, it's not a donation. It's a bequest for after you're gone, where it won't cost you anything. So talk to Tom about that. And again, it doesn't have to be a big amount. A small amount is perfectly fine. Oh my God, there's a lot of announcements. Joanne, you weren't kidding. Buffalo Corner Reading Series will make its debut under the tent on Friday, July 10th, following this Erev Shabbat service. July 11th, we are having a Shred It event. It's back. It'll be in the parking lot. That is drive-through, and it is cash only. That is Saturday, July 11th. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out to Rabbi Alex, Cantor Frank, Todd, Joe, Joanne, or myself. We are all here for you, except for Joanne, who is not here for us at the moment. She's next door. She's setting up. It's okay. And please join us for our Oneg, which is sponsored by David Bunis. Thank you, David. And catered by Bloom and Rose. Again, we're now starting to do 2 separate Oneg lines to make it easier for you to get through. So please join us for that. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Rabbi Reina. Thank you, David. By the way, one story that she didn't tell, you didn't hear this, but Rabbi Alex was the captain of the basketball team at the Reconstructionist Rabbinical College. Now, as you can imagine, a basketball team at a rabbinical college, not the strongest team.
Mark, what is the timing on him? 8:00. You got past 8 minutes.
8 minutes of this.
All right.
Perk of membership. Shabbat Shalom.
It's true that we don't have sports teams. The students do play foursquare in front of the building as recess, and I have been pushing for rugby. I'm the only one, and no one else will join. Oh well. It's a great sport. We're going to finish with Yigdal and then Motzi. When I was having my bat mitzvah, every week the teacher would say, Reina, Ein Keloheinu or Adon Olam? And the question gave me such anxiety. I would stomach aches as we would drive to the lessons. I was thinking, oh my goodness, Ein Keloheinu, Adon Olam. I've done away with both of them. We're going to Yigdal. We don't have to worry about it. 206. Yigdal Elohim chai ve'ishtabach nimtza ve'ein et el metziuto echad ve'en yachin keichudo ne'lam ve'gam en sof le'achduto ein lo demut haguf ve'ein o guf Lo na'aroch elav kedushato kadmon lechol davar asher nivra rishon v'ein reshit lereshito hino adon olam lechol notzar yoreh gedulato malchuto Shefa nevuato netano el anshe segulato vetifarto lo kam Israel kemo she'od naviu abin et emunato Torah temet natan le'amoel al yad nevio neman beito lo yachalifa el velo yamir dato leolamim lezulato tzofe v'yodea setarenu mabit lesof davar bekadmato Gomer leish chesed kemifalo Noten larasha kerish'ato Yishlach yeketz yamin pedut olam Kol chai v'yesh yakir yishu'ato Chaye olam nata v'tochenu Baruch Adei Hashem Tehilato Chaye Olam Nata Betochenu Baruch Adei Hashem Tehilato
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. As you came in peace, please leave in peace. Please return your prayer books to the front minus the leaflet and join us for the oneg. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
It wasn't for this that I realized that this prayer had changed the last four lines.
Yeah, there's a couple from the
Because I thought the question was like, that's not the version that I'm familiar with. I had practice. I was like, this is
it's
theologically, it's not my jam, but musically, I love it. Shabbat shalom. Yeah, it makes sense. I just hadn't remembered that this blue book changed so significantly from the Old Shema, which has the other ones. And I reminded myself when I was prepping. We're going to be talking about the prayer book tomorrow, in fact. It's the anniversary of the prayer book.